The axe forgets, but the tree remembers. Let that sink in, folks. While they've moved on like nothing happened, you're still standing there with scars they can't even see. That ends today. Here's a hard truth you need to hear. If someone could walk away from you after everything you gave, after all the love you poured into them, they never deserved you in the first place. They didn't just reject you, they revealed themselves as emotional cowards who couldn't recognize real love when it stood right in front of them. Now, picture this. You're a rare diamond they mistook for cheap glass. They tossed you aside without a second thought. But here's what they don't realize. Diamonds don't lose value just because someone can't appreciate them. My friend, you've been lied to. You were told that begging would bring them back, that showing your pain would make them care, that proving your worth would change their mind. All lies. The painful truth: the more you chase, the more they run. The more you hurt, the more they take you for granted. Let me tell you what really happens when you disappear. First week, they're relieved. Second week, they're curious. Third week, they're checking your social media. Fourth week, they're replaying your memories. After a month, they're drowning in regret. Because here's the psychological truth: the human mind craves what it can't have. When you vanish completely, no texts, no calls, no social media reactions, you become an obsession. Your silence becomes the loudest scream they've ever heard. They'll start remembering the way you looked at them like they mattered, the safety they felt in your arms, the future they threw away. And when they finally reach out, that's when you'll discover your power, because the moment you stop needing them is the moment they start needing you. This isn't about playing games. This is about reclaiming your dignity, about looking in the mirror and finally seeing what they were too blind to recognize: a person of immense value who deserves real love. So starting right now, delete their number. Stop checking their social media. Redirect all that love you were wasting on them back to yourself. The greatest revenge isn't hatred. It's indifference. It's becoming so consumed with your own growth that their absence becomes their punishment. Say it with me: I am the prize. Type that in the comments right now. I am the prize. If this hit home, smash that like button. If you're ready to transform your pain into power, hit subscribe. Your comeback story starts today. Remember this: the same lips that told you you're not enough will one day beg for another chance. And when that day comes, you'll be long gone, living a life so bright it burns their regrets to ashes. I am the prize. Say it. Believe it. Live it. Your silence starts now. Their torture begins today. Number 1. Why your pain is their power. Never love anyone who treats you like you're ordinary. Let me ask you something brutal, my friend. How does it feel to be someone's option when they were your everything? How does it feel to be tossed aside like yesterday's trash after you gave them your heart wrapped in gold? Here's the ugly truth you've been avoiding. Every tear you cried gave them power. Every late night "I miss you" text fed their ego. Every time you broke your pride to beg for scraps of their attention, you weren't proving your love. You were proving their control over you. Picture this. You're a rare masterpiece in a museum, but they treated you like a dollar store poster. They walked past you every day without stopping to admire, without realizing what they had. And when they finally left, they expected you to chase them through the streets, begging to be hung back on their dirty wall. What kind of nonsense is that? Let's break the lies they sold you. Lie number 1. If you love someone, fight for them. Truth? Love isn't a war where only one side shows up to battle. Lie number 2. They'll come back if they see how much you're hurting. Reality? Your pain is their drug, and addicts never respect their dealers. Lie number 3. Maybe if I change, they'll want me again. Wake up. You weren't the problem. Someone who could walk away from you was never your destiny. Now let's talk about the fear keeping you trapped. What if they forget about me? Darling, they forgot your worth while you were still loving them. What if they move on first? Let them. A monkey doesn't stop being a monkey just because it climbs a different tree. What if this silence pushes them away forever? Good. The trash took itself out. I see you shaking your head right now. I see that little voice whispering, but what if... No. What if you became the one who got away? What if you became the memory that haunts their empty nights? What if you became so unattainable that your ghost becomes their religion? That's the power we're unlocking today. Your silence isn't weakness, it's warfare. It's the withdrawal they never saw coming. While they expected you to crumble, you're about to become the earthquake that destroys their entire emotional foundation. Remember this, lions don't lose sleep over the opinions of sheep. And you, my friend, were never meant to beg for love from emotional beggars. Say it loud, so the universe hears you. I refuse to be anyone's plan B. Type that in the comments right now. I refuse to be anyone's plan B. Let the world see your transformation begin. Let them see it too. Because the game changes today. And if you think this hits hard, you're not ready for what comes next. The psychological storm we're about to unleash will rewrite every rule they thought they knew about you. Your resurrection starts now. Their reckoning begins today. I refuse to be anyone's plan B. Write it, mean it, become it. The silence is coming, and it speaks louder than all your tears ever could. Number 2. The phantom limb effect. The worst feeling isn't being lonely, it's being forgotten by someone you could never forget. Let me tell you something fascinating about human psychology, my warrior. When a person loses an arm or leg, they still feel it itching for months afterward. Their brain refuses to accept it's gone. That's called the phantom limb effect. Now, here's what will shock you. You're about to become that missing limb in their life. Think about the last time you suddenly stopped doing something you did every day. Maybe quitting coffee, maybe stopping your nightly scroll through their social media. At first it's easy. Then, around day 3, your hands start twitching for it. Your mind starts playing tricks on you. That's exactly what's about to happen to them. Right now they're comfortable. They think they have all the power. They expect your usual patterns, your good morning texts, your reactions to their stories, your occasional "I miss you" slips. But what happens when day after day passes and nothing comes? First, their fingers will hover over their phone. Then they'll start accidentally opening your chat. Soon they'll be hearing your laugh in crowded rooms, seeing your smile in strangers. Their mind will start creating you where you no longer exist. This isn't magic. This is science. The human brain is wired to obsess over sudden absences. What was once always available is now mysteriously gone. And like a detective at a crime scene, their mind will start reconstructing your last conversations, analyzing your last words for hidden meanings, imagining where you are, who you're with, all while you're nowhere to be found. Here's where most people fail. They break silence too soon. They post vague, sad quotes. They accidentally run into them. No, you must disappear completely. Become a perfect void. Let me show you how. First, digital vanishing act. Delete them everywhere, not dramatically, just silently. Let them notice one by one that your digital footprint in their life is fading. 2. Become unreadable. No sad posts, no angry posts, just nothing about them at all. The mystery will eat them alive. Third, let mutual friends talk. When asked about you, a simple she's doing great is nuclear warfare to their curiosity. Remember, you're not giving them the cold shoulder. You're making them feel amputated, that itch they can't scratch. That's your ghost living rent-free in their mind. Say it with me until your soul believes it. My absence is my weapon. Type that in the comments right now. My absence is my weapon. Let the world witness your transformation. Let them feel the ground shift beneath their feet. Because what comes next, we're turning that phantom pain into their permanent condition. The withdrawal symptoms are just beginning, and you hold the cure they'll never get. My absence is my weapon. Write it. Own it. Watch how powerful silence can be. The haunting begins now. Their mind just became your territory. And trust me, you're about to become unforgettable. Number 3, the 3 a.m. regret cycle. The loneliest hour is not midnight. It's 3 a.m. when the world sleeps and the truth wakes. There is a special kind of loneliness that only exists in the dead of night. Not the dramatic, poetic loneliness of midnight, but the raw, unfiltered loneliness of 3 a.m. when the world is asleep and the mind becomes its own worst enemy. This is where your ex will find themselves, night after night, drowning in the silence you've left behind. Let me paint you a picture of sweet psychological justice. It's 3:17 a.m. Their bedroom is dark, except for the pale glow of their phone screen. They're staring at your last message from weeks ago, thumb hovering over the call button before pulling back at the last second. This is the regret cycle in action, and you're about to become its architect. Here's the beautiful truth about human psychology. Presence is taken for granted, but absence is obsessively analyzed. When you were constantly available, texting back immediately, always there when they needed you, your value became invisible. But now that you've disappeared, their brain has started doing your work for you. At 3 a.m., when their defenses are down, that's when the real torture begins. Memories of you replay in high definition, but now they're edited, all the good times amplified, all the bad times softened by nostalgia. That fight where they said unforgivable things, suddenly they're remembering how you forgave them anyway. That time they stood you up, now they're fixating on how you still welcomed them back with open arms. Their phone becomes a torture device. They'll check your social media through fake accounts, analyzing every post for hidden meanings. That photo of you smiling with friends, they'll zoom in, searching your eyes for signs of sadness. That song you shared, they'll dissect the lyrics like a desperate detective. Even your Spotify playlists become clues in their desperate investigation into whether you're hurting as much as they are. The comparisons start next. Every new person they talk to gets measured against your ghost. She doesn't laugh at my jokes like you did. He doesn't remember little details about me the way you always did. They'll find themselves in bed with someone new, only to realize they're searching for your scent on a stranger's skin. This is when the self-punishment phase begins. They'll reread old texts, now seeing the conversations through new eyes. Those times they brushed you off, suddenly they look cruel. Those moments they took you for granted, now they seem like unforgivable sins. Their mind becomes a courtroom where they're both the accused and the judge, and the verdict is always guilty. The most powerful part? You don't have to do anything but maintain your silence. Every day you don't reach out is another day their mind twists the knife for you. When they finally break and send that tentative, "Hey," after weeks of nothing, that's not just a text, that's a white flag. And you're the victor who gets to decide whether to accept their surrender. So let me ask you this. Are you ready to become the ghost they can't forget? The name they whisper at 3 a.m., the regret that keeps them up at night. Type "I am the ghost" in the comments if you're ready to embrace this power, because here's what's coming next. We're going to weaponize your happiness in ways that will make their regret unbearable. They thought they could live without you. Let's see how they handle watching you thrive. The night is long, my friend, and their suffering, it's only just begun. Number 4. Social media warfare. The most painful goodbyes are the ones where the person leaves smiling. Let me tell you about the exquisite torture you're about to inflict without saying a single word. Imagine them scrolling through their feed late at night, bleary-eyed, when suddenly, there you are, not broken, not begging, but radiant, unrecognizable, thriving in ways they never got to experience. That, my friend, is how you turn social media into a psychological battleground where their regret becomes your silent victory. This isn't about pretending. This is about revealing the truth they were too blind to see, that you were always this magnificent, with or without them. When you post that candid laugh with friends, that quiet moment of self-care, that new adventure you're embracing, each image becomes a mirror, forcing them to confront what they threw away. They'll analyze the glow in your eyes, the ease in your smile, the confidence in your posture, searching desperately for cracks that don't exist. The magic lies in what you don't say. No captions about moving on, no vague quotes about betrayal, just pure, unfiltered life radiating from every post. Let them wonder who took that photo. Let them obsess over where that happiness is coming from. Let them stay up nights torturing themselves with the realization that your light wasn't dependent on their presence after all. Every story you share of mundane joy, morning coffee, a new book, the sunset from your balcony, becomes a psychological landmine, because normalcy hurts more than drama. Your casual contentment proves their irrelevance in your world now. They expected tears, but you gave them indifference wrapped in grace. They prepared for war, but you're too busy dancing in the peace they abandoned. And when mutual friends casually mention how great you're doing, when they see you tagged in photos where you're clearly the life of the party, that's when the real psychological spiral begins. They'll start questioning everything. Were you always this magnetic? Was I holding you back? Is someone else appreciating what I took for granted? Here's the cruelest cut of all. The more authentic your happiness appears, the more it destroys their narrative. They told themselves you'd crumble without them. They consoled themselves that you'd never recover. But your social media is now a living testament to their miscalculation, a public archive of their worst fear coming true. Say it with me until your fingers believe it as they type, "My joy is my revenge." Let those words flood the comments below. My joy is my revenge. This is where the real power shift happens, not in their pity, but in your undeniable ascent, not in their guilt, but in your glorious indifference. The evidence of your evolution is now on display for the world. And most importantly, for that one pair of eyes desperately searching for cracks in your armor that will never appear. My joy is my revenge. Write it. Post it. Let it sink into your digital footprint like perfume they can't wash off. The war isn't fought with words anymore. It's waged through every image that proves your spirit remained unbroken, every story that showcases your resilience, every like that wasn't from them, but from a world that recognizes your worth, even when they didn't. Let them scroll, let them wonder, let them drown in the ocean of your unbothered joy. Their regret is no longer your concern. It's their new bedtime story, whispered by the ghosts of what they carelessly threw away. The revolution isn't coming, my friend. It's already here, and it looks damn good on you. Number 5. The forbidden rebound tactic. There comes a moment after heartbreak when you realize the truth. Love was never about fairness. It was about power. And right now, you're holding the nuclear codes to the most devastating psychological weapon they'll ever face. This isn't about moving on. This isn't about replacing them. This is about making them taste the bitter medicine of their own choices until they choke on the aftertaste. Let me show you how the human mind betrays itself in the face of uncertainty. When you vanish completely after a breakup, you create a vacuum in their life. Nature abhors a vacuum, and so does the human psyche. Their brain will rush to fill that empty space with whatever scraps of information it can find. A shadow in your Instagram story becomes a new lover. A casual mention of "we" in conversation becomes proof you've moved on. Their imagination becomes your greatest ally in this silent war. I watched this play out with my friend Mark last summer. After his girlfriend of 3 years left him for someone else, he did something brilliant. He didn't beg. He didn't plead. He simply disappeared from her world while becoming more visible in his own. A photo here showing him at a concert, the edge of someone's shoulder just visible beside him. A story there mentioning how someone special had recommended a book he was reading. Never confirmation, never denial, just enough breadcrumbs to lead her mind down a dark path of its own making. By autumn, she was calling mutual friends to ask about Mark's new relationship. By winter, she was showing up at his gym, coincidentally, on days she knew he'd be there. By spring, she was crying outside his apartment at 2 a.m., begging for another chance. The psychology behind why this works is both beautiful and brutal. 1. The scarcity principle. People want what they believe is in limited supply. When they think you're being taken by someone else, your value skyrockets in their mind. 2. Loss aversion. Studies show the pain of losing something is psychologically twice as powerful as the pleasure of gaining it. The thought of you belonging to someone else triggers primal panic. 3. Social proof. Nothing makes you more attractive than being desired by others. Even the hint that someone new sees your worth forces them to reconsider their assessment. But here's what they never tell you about playing this game. It changes you. There comes a point where the power shifts so completely that you stop caring whether they come crawling back or not. The late nights you spent crafting the perfect ambiguous post become evenings where you're actually living the life you were only pretending to have before. The mysterious someone special you hinted at becomes real confidence you've cultivated in yourself. That's when you achieve true victory, not when they want you back, but when you realize you don't need them to. So tell me now, are you ready to become the ghost that haunts their every waking moment? The unanswered question that keeps them up at night, the regret they'll carry for years to come. Type, "I am the ghost" in the comments if you're prepared to wield this power, because in our next chapter we'll explore what happens when they finally break, when all that accumulated fear and longing comes spilling out in one desperate attempt to reclaim what they threw away. And by then, you might just find their groveling means less to you than the freedom you've discovered in their absence. Number 6. When they finally crack. There exists a pivotal moment in every breakup's aftermath, that exquisite turning point when their carefully constructed indifference crumbles like wet sand between their fingers. You'll know it when it comes. Maybe it's a text appearing at 2:37 a.m. that simply says, "Hey." Perhaps it's an accidental, like on your 6-week-old Instagram post. However it manifests, this moment represents your first true test of psychological warfare, and most people fail it spectacularly. Let me walk you through what's really happening when that long-awaited message finally appears. For weeks, maybe months, they've existed in what they believed was a comfortable position of power. They walked away, they set the terms, they controlled the narrative, but silence has been working on them like water on stone, slowly, imperceptibly eroding their certainty. At first, they told themselves you'd come crawling back. Then they convinced themselves you were hurting in private. Now they're not sure of anything anymore. The psychology behind their reach-out is more complex than simple regret. What you're witnessing is cognitive dissonance in action. Their belief that you couldn't live without them conflicts with the evidence of your radio silence. This mental discomfort demands resolution, hence the tentative reach-out. The testing phase. That casual, "Hey stranger," isn't an apology. It's a psychological probe. They're checking if you're still emotionally invested, still orbiting their world, still under their influence. The withdrawal symptoms. Just as addicts crave their drug of choice, they're experiencing literal withdrawal from your attention, your validation, your presence. That text is their equivalent of scratching at an old wound. I've seen this play out countless times with clients and friends. Jessica's ex sent a meme after 47 days of silence, then panicked when she didn't respond for 3 days. Michael's former girlfriend accidentally called him at 1 a.m., hanging up after 2 rings. David's ex-husband started suddenly liking all his LinkedIn posts after 6 weeks of nothing. Here's how you handle each type of reach-out with surgical precision. For the casual "hey" or meme, wait precisely 23 hours and 17 minutes. The exact timing matters. Then respond with something so bland it stings. "Hi," first name only. "Hope you're well." The lack of any personal touch or emotional tone will reverberate through their nervous system. For the nostalgic "remember when," reply days later with, "Oh yeah, that was fun. Anyway," immediately change subject to your current exciting life. This demonstrates the memory holds no emotional charge for you anymore. For the drunk or late-night message, no response at all. Let them wake up to the glaring evidence of their own weakness staring back from their sent messages. For the "we need to talk" bomb. After an appropriate pause, respond with, "I'm pretty swamped right now, but feel free to email me the details." This establishes you're no longer at their emotional beck and call. The magic happens in what you don't say. Your restraint speaks volumes more than any words could. When they realize you're not rushing to respond, You're not emotionally charged in your replies. You're clearly living a full life without them. That's when their approach will shift dramatically. The casual tone drops. The real messages start coming. The over-explaining begins. Suddenly they're sending paragraphs when you sent sentences, double texting when you take time to reply, suggesting meetups when you've shown no interest. This is the power shift in real time. The hunter has become the hunted. The rejecter has become the rejected. But here's the crucial warning. This is where most people self-sabotage. The moment they show real interest, the wounded part of you will want to flood them with all your pent-up emotions, immediately forgive everything, jump back into their arms. Resist this with every fiber of your being. True power lies in maintaining your indifference even as they escalate. When they ask to meet, you're busy. When they want to talk, you're occupied. Make them work for every scrap of your attention the way you once worked for theirs. Because here's the beautiful paradox. By the time they're truly ready to give you what you deserved all along, you'll likely find you don't want it anymore. The person who emerges from this process isn't the same person they left. You've grown stronger, wiser, and more self-contained. So tell me now, when that message finally comes, will you have the discipline to play the long game? Will you be able to resist the immediate gratification for the ultimate victory? Type "I am the prize" in the comments if you're ready to claim your power. Because in our final chapter, we'll explore what happens when their regret becomes undeniable, when they're willing to say and do anything to get you back. And by then, the choice will be entirely yours, whether to allow it or not. Number 7. The ultimate test. The greatest power isn't making them want you back, it's not needing them to. Now comes the moment of truth, my warrior. After weeks of silence, after watching you thrive from afar, they've finally surfaced. That text, that call, that accidental run-in at your favorite coffee shop. Your stomach flips, but this time, not from longing, from power. Here's the brutal reality most never grasp. If they come crawling back now, it's not because they love you, it's because your absence forced them to realize your value. And that changes everything. When they return, don't fall for poetic apologies. Don't melt at nostalgic memories. Don't reward their temporary guilt with permanent forgiveness. Make them prove it. Let them plan proper dates, not last-minute you up. Texts. Watch if their actions match their words over months, not days. Demand the effort you deserved all along. If they're genuine, they'll move mountains. If they're not, they'll make excuses. Either way, you win. If they never return, understand this sacred truth. Their silence was the answer all along. Their absence was the closure you needed. Their loss will become someone else's blessing, because here's what they'll never tell you. The person who walked away always wonders if they made a mistake. The one who got left eventually realizes they dodged a bullet. This journey was never about them. It was about you discovering an unshakable truth. You were always the prize. They were just bad at winning you. Say it with me until your soul believes nothing else. I am the storm they couldn't weather. Type that in the comments now. I am the storm they couldn't weather. Let the world see your transformation. Let them witness what happens when someone realizes their own worth too late. Because whether they come back or stay gone, you've already won the war. They didn't even know they were fighting. Your victory wasn't in their return, it was in your rebirth. I am the storm they couldn't weather. Write it, post it, let it sink into your bones like winter into earth. The finale isn't about them begging, it's about you realizing you don't need their apology to be free. You don't need their love to be complete. You just needed to remember who the hell you were before they tried to make you forget. The test is over. The results are in. And darling, you passed with flying colors. Number 8. The final warning. Before you set out for revenge, dig 2 graves, one for them and one for the person you used to be. Let me look you dead in the eyes through this screen right now, soldier. What we've done here, it's dangerous alchemy. We've taken your pain and forged it into a weapon, and like any weapon, it can protect or destroy, including yourself. This isn't a game. This isn't a love story. This is psychological warfare of the highest order. And before you march onto this battlefield, you need to ask yourself one brutal question. Am I prepared to burn the bridge completely? Because here's the raw truth they won't tell you. If you do this right, if you truly master the art of detachment, you might reach a point where their apology doesn't matter, where their regret doesn't satisfy you, where even if they came crawling back on their knees, you'd look down at them and feel nothing. And that's the real test. Not whether you can make them miss you, but whether you can reach a place where you don't care if they do. Because listen closely, the moment this becomes about hurting them rather than healing you, you've already lost. Your greatest revenge won't be their suffering. It will be your liberation. The day you wake up and realize their opinion holds no weight. The morning you check your phone and feel nothing when their name doesn't appear. The night you dream about your future, and they're nowhere in it. Say it with me one final time. I choose me. Let those 3 words flood the comments. I choose me. Not for likes, not for show, but as a sacred contract with yourself. The tools are yours now. The strategy is set. The power is in your hands. Use them wisely. Use them with intention. And most importantly, use them knowing that true strength isn't in making someone regret losing you. It's in reaching a place where their regret doesn't matter anymore. Now go disappear, not to punish them, but to rediscover yourself. The rest? Well, that's their problem now. And so we arrive at the end of our battle plan, but the beginning of your victory. You came here broken. You're leaving empowered. Those tears, fertilizer for your growth. That heartbreak, fuel for your fire. You now hold the psychological blueprint to make regret their shadow. But remember, true power lies in walking away, not just from them, but from the person you were in their arms. If this resonated, smash that like button. Let's spread this armor. Subscribe for more unapologetic truth bombs. Share with a friend who needs this weapon.